Animal Kingdom has been one of the hottest shows on the TNT network since its debut in 2016. With its 6th season set to come out sometime in 2022, let's take a look at what transpired in Season 5 and take a deep dive into what to expect in Season 6. Buckle up because you're not going to want to miss a second of this video. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So, what happened in Season 5? For those of you who have yet to watch Season 5 of Animal Kingdom, be warned, there will be some spoilers ahead, and for those who have watched the 5th season, did it blow your mind as much as it blew mine or what? Season 5 was a thrill ride from start to finish, full of drama and intrigue, but it ended on what was clearly meant to be a high note for the Codys, but is clearly a sign of the horrific future that is to come for the family. Let's dive into the recap of the 5th season of Animal Kingdom. The season saw the main members of the show, Craig, Pope, Darren, and Jay, having to deal with the death of Smurf. Their entire lives and family unit were essentially shattered following the death of Smurf, and they needed to deal with the fallout that came with it, which proceeded to be a lot more difficult than we could have imagined. Moreover, the Cody family had an extremely fragile alliance to uphold, which only added to the difficult juggling act that the clan had to go through in order to stay alive. The kingdom's leader had been removed, and it was time to see which of the Codys would emerge victorious in the aftermath. The season followed the Codys' journey to attempt to pull off the family's biggest heist yet, a shipping container filled with millions of dollars worth of cold, hard cash. But did the gang end up pulling it off, or were there any potential snags in the plan that resulted in their failure? Let's dive into it. Next, got off without a hitch. Maybe? If you tuned into Season 5 finale, then you would know that the gang does in fact get away with the money and successfully completes the heist. However, things may not stay so hunky-dory for very long. Pope and Craig, of course, ended up getting their duffel bags full of cash at the pot, but they're not the main issue in the heist going sideways. It, of course, was Jay, who ended up running into some issues when he attempted to make his way off of the dock. He was questioned by Port Authority police about what his business of the dock was, which resulted in him cutting his luck and making a mad dash off the dock with the money. He did end up being successful, but he of course was seen by some of the officers and was shot at, which usually does not happen in a successful job. But what do I know, right? I'm just a guy who critiques the heists. I don't actually do them. Anyway, the four did end up getting the money to an agreed upon location, but they were forced to pull off an aquatic maneuver in order to keep the money hidden and were forced to dive for it after to ensure that they secured the money. After a good amount of suspense and intrigue, the gang does end up getting the money back to their house, and it appears that they had pulled off the biggest heist in the history of the show. However, how long can this last? Of course, as we already mentioned, Jay was seen by some Port Authority officers and can easily be identified later in life. Additionally, the Codys are not exactly an inconspicuous bunch, and were seen fleeing the port, which will undoubtedly come back to haunt them in the future. Moreover, obviously the money does not actually belong to the Codys, and that is why they had to steal, which means that the money does actually belong to someone. And because of the amount, you know that there is absolutely no way that the original owner of the cash does not come looking for revenge. And you know that the Codys will be haunted by this heist in the future. And if you thought this was the only event to haunt the gang going into Season 6, you would be dead wrong. The season ended with an insane twist that you are not going to believe. Now, the big twist. Animal Kingdom Season 5 ended with an absolutely insane twist that goes to show that a life of crime never ends well, and that you can never run away from your problems. The last shot of the season is the Codys clinking their bottles of beer together while they chant the Smurfs' toast. May we get what we want and never what we deserve. That chant turns out to be incredibly ironic because it does seem like they are going to get exactly what they deserve come Season 6, because the season ends with a body being uncovered in a remote crime scene in the desert. It is meant to look like a DEA agent that was dealt with earlier, but it is revealed that the body is in fact Catherine, the wife of Baz. As longtime fans of the show would know, Pope killed Catherine back in Season 2 because of orders he received from Smurf, and it finally seems like this crime is going to come back to haunt him and the Cody clan in Season 6. How are they going to deal with all of these people tracking down the Codys in order to extract revenge? Who is going to take the role of kingdom leader now that Smurf is dead? Who is going to make it out of season 6 alive? And who is going to finally get what they deserve and bite the dust? You will have to tune into season 6 to find out. Unfortunately, season 6 has no official release date yet, but we do expect it to come out sometime in the summer of 2022. However, it could turn out to be sooner than that because we do know that all the episodes of the 6th and final season have been filmed and the season is in its final development stage over at the TNT studios. So, what needs to be solved in season 6? Season 5 and the rest of the previous seasons for that matter have a crazy amount of loose ends and unanswered questions that need to be solved in the final season of this show. For example, why would Smurf keep an apartment on the Strand secret from the boys? What is he hiding in there and what did he use it for? Are we finally going to find out what the apartment was for, and are the boys finally going to find it and use it? Or will it go unanswered? Also, we found out in the past season that Smurf's beneficiary of the will was in fact Pam Johnson, and that it had been officially her position for a full month prior to her death. So, if this was the case, why would Will get sent to Julia? Would it not have gone to Pam instead? Something smells fishy here, and I'm certain that we will find an answer to this question sometime in season 6. Speaking of things that I think we will get answers to, where the heck is Mikey? Does anyone even remember Mikey? He's Pope's cousin, and we have no idea where he currently is, but I'm sure he would be a big help to the gang with the problems they are certain to have come in the season 6 premiere. I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I would bet that we get to see Mikey sometime during this season, or at least hear about his whereabouts. Speaking of knowing what happens to family members, will we ever find out why Julia left the family business? What were the events that led to her calling it quits in terms of the family business? I'm certain that will be explored sometime during the 6th season, especially when you consider that it is already confirmed to be the final season of the show. And I believe that this is just too big of a story detail to leave to the imagination of the audience, you know? They need to reveal what happened there and how it impacts the relationship with Julia and the rest of the family, especially when you remember that they spent a great deal of the flashback scenes in season 5 discussing Julia's past and her relationship with old members of her family. I cannot see the writers missing the opportunity to explore her family dynamic further, especially with the show coming to a close soon. Another opportunity that I doubt the writers will willingly miss out on telling, I think will involve Pope and Ren. I think we might see a reunion between the two, especially now that Pope has some disposable income. But this so far is a great deal of loose ends that I am expecting them to tie up, along with the added story that will undoubtedly result in an epic and explosive conclusion that will hopefully be a satisfying conclusion to the show. That's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in. What did you think of the 5th season of Animal Kingdom? Thank you all once again, and we will see you all in the next video.